Okay, so thank you everyone for being on here today. I'm so excited to take over this first of the month Tuesday call. And obviously I'm not Ben. I'm not as articulate as Ben. I can't speak as well as Ben speaks. But I am here and I'm here to learn and I'm here to grow and I'm here to share things that I'm learning, and I'm here to share the things from you that you're learning, because that's what we should all do together. I was just telling Gloria that someone asked me this week, they said, well, are you going to be, I should come a more forward facing, because obviously I've been in the business for a long time. I've just been behind the scenes and planning and organizing, and Ben has been the beautiful face of the business on all the calls. But we discuss everything, we talk about everything. So I have known everything that's happening. I've just not been the one on the calls. And so yeah, someone asked me this week, well, as you're stepping into this role, you don't know anything about the business. I'm like, well, I know just as much as Ben knows. I'm just not on the face of the calls. But also he said, are you going to be a leader or a follower in this? And I said, I am going to be both. I can be both. I can support and lead, and I can follow and learn. And we don't have to be one or the other. Let's just, I mean, the elephant in the room here is that, obviously Ben is not here in front of you, and I am going to be more forward facing. And obviously we love our Niken family. This is an incredibly difficult decision to make, and it would not have been the first choice, but we have to put first things first. And we've had 3 children get married this year, and they're all settling in the US. And so we do not want to move back to England at this point and leave our children, who I am sure are going to end up having kids pretty soon, because they're just that way. So we're making these decisions based on what's best for our family, and it wasn't easy, but we are going to do our very best to keep our family strong and able to stay in the US. We love this wonderful country. So yeah, it was really difficult. But I'm not Ben, and I won't do things like Ben, and Ben's really great with words, and I'm probably not as, I know I'm not as good as him with words, but I'm going to share things that I feel strongly about, and things that I feel like I've learned a little bit about. I'm going to be authentic with it. I'm not going to theorize on things that I don't know. But I am a learner. I love to learn. Okay, so the number one question I get asked whenever I meet new people, and they find out that we have such a large family. Well, the first question they ask is, are they all yours? That's what they say. They see them and they say, are they all yours? And I'm like, yes. And now I have a new question, because it used to be, are they all yours? Yes. And then now the second question is, are you a blended family, or are you all, you must be a blended family. I'm like, no. They all lived inside me. They all came out of me. I delivered all of these babies. So as you know, for those who don't know, we have 8 children. So after they ask that, are they all yours? The second question is, how do you manage your time to have all of those kids and to do everything that you do? And honestly, for a long time, I did not know how to answer that question, because it's like, well, I don't know any different. And kids have just come along and they've just slotted in, and, the busyness of Ben's work, being away, and we've never had a nanny. So that's the question I get asked a lot. How do you do it all? And it's taken me many years to come up with an answer, because I didn't really know how to answer that question. But as well as having 8 children, we have busy lives. A little bit about me, for those that don't know, I run a DIY Instagram channel where I share all the home projects that I'm doing online, and saving all the money as we go, because I don't want to pay people to do things ridiculous prices that I feel like I could give a good go myself. So I do that. I am also just finishing my second undergrad degree in family and social services, and I'm about to embark on a master's program in clinical mental health counseling. And I love it. I love learning. I love growth, and I love learning. I will keep on trying to learn till the day I die, because I just value it so much. So we have very busy lives, as we all do. We all have things going on in our lives. And I've had to learn some things about how to put first things first, and how to make prioritize the things in my life at that time that I need to focus the most on. So the first things first, what does that mean? What does it mean to put first things first? First things first means that we need to organize our time around the most important things in our lives and eliminate those things that are not important. So in a business context, we can look at the things that are most important for our business. We understand the concept that some things are urgent and important. Some things are urgent and not important. Some things are not urgent and not important. So the first step is what we need to do is to make a list of all of those things and prioritize what things need to be done first. And that's not always easy to do. But I think the more we do it and the more we practice it, the easier it becomes to recognize those things in our lives that need to be put first. Now, what are some of the things that we know that we all know are the most important things? And these are things that I live by. I love everything that I do, but some things will always come first in my life. Family will always come before work in my life. My health will always come first before everything else. It's important to focus on the people in our business and not just the numbers. Developing those relationships with people, it's great to get the numbers, but those relationships are more important, and let's not ever forget those relationships that we have with people. Supporting our teams and focusing on the processes that we follow through on, not just the results. We've all heard that adage, it's about the journey, not just the destination. We all want the destination, but the journey is just as important and just as valid. And we need to make sure that as we're on that journey, that we are giving it our very best. And another thing that I think is really important on putting first things first is to focus on our own progression and not just the achievements at the end. It's human nature that we want those achievements. We want the recognition and we want the prize. But we also need to understand the value of the progress that we're making as we're developing in our businesses. Okay, so a little bit about, and I'm sure I would love to hear more from you, but I'll just go through my list, and I would love to hear your experiences on multitasking. One of the questions I guess is important to understand is what do we do when everything is important that we need to do, and we have a long list of important things that we have to do? Where do we start there? I'd love feedback. Where do we start when everything is important on our to-do list? Where would you start?
Kim, hi, this is Karen Willens.
Hi, Karen.
So I start with, when everything is important, I start with the things that have a time frame. The time frame, of course, comes first. Whatever is due first, that's what gets the attention.
I love it. So the urgent things, so things that have a time frame are urgent, aren't they?
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else? I will go, Kim. I help my husband with his personal business and, of course, my NECAN business, and I'm a grandma now helping with grandkids. As you, of course, grandkids are very important because I'm the only grandma available, so I try to fit that in regardless. But currently, I find myself, I have some things that I absolutely must do with my husband's business. I could not avoid it. So what I've pivoted to focus, resolve that, and then move on to my NECAN activities that are important to me, because I was just not able to put my best forward when it comes to with both, because it was a fairly serious problem, and I just took myself away from, as important as my NECAN business is, I had to resolve this first. So that's sometimes a decision you have to make.
I agree. I agree. We're expected to wear many hats in the roles that we play. And I think each of us individually have to decide in that moment which that we need to have on and how we move forward with that hat. But I agree. I think we all also have different seasons. We're all in different seasons of our lives right now, aren't we? Some of us are in the young mother stage, some of us are in the grandchildren stage, and we all have to figure out. That's one thing I kind of tell myself frequently. You know what? In the next season, I might have more time to do something like this, that I would like to do. My husband tells me, he's like, you have no more time to do anything because I just want to fill my life with so many things. And for me, I thrive on that. Not everyone would thrive on that. And I understand that too. It's not for everyone. But for me, I thrive on being very busy and feeling productive and getting things done in my day. I'm a list maker. I love to make lists and get things done. But I also need to remind myself constantly to take a breath. I don't know if anyone else does that. I frequently have to tell myself to take a breath and focus on things that matter most. We have a hand raised, Vance. Do you want to say something?
Just real briefly, I I am laughing hysterically because I love the way you opened it when you said people ask you, are all these kids yours? Because that's a question Stacy and I get all the time because two of them don't look like us, and it's just hilarious. But when you talk about the seasons, yesterday for me was a year and a half to the day that I gave up one of my three careers. And you are not going to get any more time in our day. Ben is absolutely 100% correct. You're not going to get any more time. We all have the same 24 hours. And the beauty is, to answer your question, as a former firefighter, one of the greatest things I learned is triage. You attack whatever priority is most important, whichever one is burning the fastest, whichever one is going to create the most amount of collateral damage or collateral benefit.
Yes.
And I think whatever we choose to focus on, because again, I could quote fire department statistics all day long, but most people don't know that a structure fire doubles in size every 60 seconds.
Wow.
So if you stand there and think, okay, hey, let's get a guy on the roof and let's go get a triage rehab set up for here. You're a nurse, so you go over here. All of a sudden, no. You put the wet stuff on the red stuff and you do it as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah. That's pretty
That's
self-evident, isn't it? I love the concept of triage. I love learning about that. And I imagine you have so many wonderful object lessons that you could apply to this knowledge of priorities and getting things done. And I love that. And I'd love to hear more. I just want to talk real quickly about multitasking. Evie. Multitasking, which I'm doing right now as children sit on the floor and make lots of noise. Multitasking, I love this quote. It refers to the ability to manage responsibilities all at once by focusing on one task while keeping track of others. Now, some people say that multitasking is a myth, but I'm pretty sure we've only got a few guys on the call today, but I'm pretty sure that it's men that are saying multitasking is a myth because scientists have said that men can't multitask, but we know as women, it's just what we do. We've done it our whole lives. We just get things done. Let me share a funny anecdote about this. When Ben and I were first married, it was like the first big conflict in our relationship. It was this. Let me show you this. This is just a hilarious example of this. So when we multitask, we group like tasks together. So for me, I would be tidying up around the house, cleaning up all the things. If there's something that needed to go upstairs, I wouldn't keep going up the stairs every time I had something. I would leave it at the bottom of the stairs. Is anyone else? I mean, that's a logical thing, yeah? So I would have a little basket at the bottom of the stairs and I would put everything in there. And then when next time I was going up the stairs, I would grab the basket and I'd carry it up, all the things. So for about a year, this went on, and this caused some conflict in our relationship. I would put this basket at the bottom of the stairs and I would have all the things in it. And Ben would try and go upstairs and trip over the basket. And he would get really frustrated. He would think, but not say, why are you putting things at the bottom of the stairs for me to trip over? And in my mind, I'd be thinking, why aren't you carrying the basket up the stairs when you go up? And we were both getting really frustrated and we hadn't communicated to each other the purposes. So that was a really great lesson. Eventually it all just exploded after his like 20th time of tripping over the basket up the stairs. He would say, why is this basket here? And I would say, why aren't you carrying the basket up? And that for us was like, wow, okay. Once he understood my reasoning and I understood his, why he was getting so frustrated, it was a real simple fix. And now to this day, even if there's something around the bottom of the stairs, he will carry it up, whether or not it's supposed to go upstairs or not. So I appreciate that. But I also learned the importance of communicating. So multitasking, we group those things together so we're not being ineffective with our time. So I put everything at the bottom of the stairs. And there's some things that we do that in business. If we're online and we're doing things online, it makes sense to do all of those things online. If we're on social media or we're reaching out to people, we do all of that at the same time rather than doing one here, there, moving on to something else. So yeah, so grouping things together. Yeah, you can have that box. Grouping things together is really important. I think also it's okay to delegate. We often think multitasking is we do everything ourselves. I think there's a real important term in multitasking where we can delegate. There are some things that don't need our individual attention, and some things that absolutely need our individual attention. So delegate where you can. And like Vance said, triage things, urgent and important, they need to be focused on straight away. Things that are urgent but not important don't necessarily need to be focused on. And yeah, don't be afraid to delegate. Just finally, I just want to talk about one other thing that I think is good to use in setting time balances throughout your day. I would never be a good fit for a regular employment. I don't like having my day scheduled, which is funny because people might think that I'm the kind of person where I like a schedule. I don't. I love lists. I don't like heavy schedules. And maybe that's because I have so many children that constantly interrupt those schedules. And maybe I've just learned over time that it's not worth the frustration to have a schedule that is just going to constantly be interrupted. So now I just have a block schedule. I have my list and I have my morning, my afternoon, and my evening. And in those blocks, I place the things that I need to get done for the morning, for the afternoon, and for the evening. And that way, there's no set times. And this wouldn't work for everyone. I just say, like this morning, these are the list of things that I need to get done. And as long as they get done within the morning time frame, that works really well. And that allows for interruptions, that allows for distractions, that allows for things that can go on. But I would love to hear of how you evaluate the list of things that you need to do each day and how do you get them done? Does anyone want to share?
This is Ruth. I'd like to share. Can you hear me?
Awesome.
So for me, I used to make to-do lists and they'd be like 15 long. And I would be at the end of the day, I would get 4 or 5 done and I'd be disappointed that I didn't finish. So what I shifted to a few years back is at night, before I go to bed, I make a list of 3 things that I want to make sure I get done tomorrow. And that has just taken off the stress for myself. And when I get those 3 things done, I can pat myself on the shoulder and say, great job, Ruth. And I felt like I've accomplished something. So that has been huge for me. And then, yes, I will add on to the 3 things, but those are bonuses.
Yes.
So I get those first 3 things done. And that has just been a huge shift for me. And it's just put me at peace. So
I love it.
working.
That's a wonderful way to look at it. Look at it is like you get those 3 things done. You go, I achieved what I needed to achieve. And if you get anything else done, you're saying, and look, I was able to also get this done. You know, good, yay me. That's a wonderful way of doing it. I think it's important that we give ourselves grace in this crazy worldly environment that we live in, where time is sped up and everything is fast, fast, fast. We need to give ourselves grace, and we need to not beat ourselves up, because that actually does nothing for us. It doesn't change the situation. Beating yourself up doesn't change the situation. It's just a case of trying again the next day and being kind to ourselves. But yeah, so there's some of the thoughts that I've been really happy to share about multitasking and how to get things done. But I would love to know if you want to shoot me a message these first Tuesday of the month's call. I would love to know what you would like to hear about and things that you would like to discuss, so that we can bring that into the conversation and into these video calls, just to make sure that what we're focusing on is the things that are important to you and things that we can make it count. Sherry, did you want to say something? Oh, we can't hear you, Sherry. Are you muted?
Okay. Yeah, it takes me a minute to figure out how to unmute on my phone. I was going to say the best thing I've done with, especially with social media things and with like my newsletter, is I do things in batches. So I sit down when I have that mindset to do a particular project and muscle through it, you know. And so, and if sometimes if I'm doing some marketing and I do niche marketing, it works to get everything set up and just take that amount of time, that block of time, like you're saying, and get that one project knocked out, which might be all I need to do for the week.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel like I have managed my time really well, because
Yeah.
I need to check the whole big thing off. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like saying, so it's block the like tasks together and just get them done and get them out of the way. I mean, we all have those tasks that we don't want to do and we put off and we say, oh, they're not that important, but we need to be able to recognize those things that are really important and those things that are not important. We often want to do the things that are just nice to do rather than not important to do. But I just want to say thank you so much for everyone's support. I've received some amazing, wonderful messages and cards from everyone. Ben and I are so grateful for our Niken family. We're grateful that you've just been so wonderfully supportive and loving about this entire process, and I'm so grateful for you guys, and I'm grateful for your support, and I'm grateful for your love, and I'm wanting to learn from you all and grow in this together as we grow our businesses. And I really, in the future months, I would love to be face to face with everyone and get some in-person gatherings together. And I would love to have that in person so that we can just spend time together and strengthen and support one another in our businesses. So thank you all so much. It's been wonderful seeing your faces today. I've missed you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of you in the future. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you,
so
Kim.
much.
Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thanks,
You
Kim.
too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
thanks, Ken. Bye. Hey, Debbie.